Well, welcome to this 21st edition of Restoring the Republic. We are winding down 2024. We've got roughly 2.5 weeks before Christmas, and of course our congressional calendar. We have a new calendar that's out, as does the Senate, and I'll touch on that just briefly. But there is so much to cover, whether it's Biden, but I'll be quick. Biden giving $1 billion to Angola. You've got the U.S. versus Skrmetti, which is the Tennessee Attorney General. The governor of Tennessee was in town, but has to do with child mutilations. You've got this whole Show Up to Work Act that I've put forward. So here we go. We'll just jump right in. So Steve Scalise, the majority leader, has released his newest calendar, as has the Senate. And so if you're looking at both of those calendars and you're comparing them side by side, what you'll notice is there's a couple of breaks in January, February, and March that the House will take that the Senate will not. And the reason for that, now keep in mind, typically it's the other way around. We are way outworking, or typically way outwork the Senate, but you have President Trump who's going to be sworn in on January 20th, and then the Senate has to do all of the confirmation. So when you see those extra weeks on the Senate calendar, it's because they have to have their hearings, they have their votes on the confirmation. So they're having to pad their calendar because this is that cycle or that year where they have to actually have to work. You know, nothing to, not to beat up on my friends in the Senate, but that being said, it is what it is. The House of Representatives is the workhouse of Congress. The Senate, however, in inauguration year has to do a little bit of effort. But you can go online, you can get access to these calendars. And like I said, you'll see the Senate has extra weeks, and then that is why. It's because of that confirmation process. And so just so you know, January 3rd, you have Congress will be sworn in. We go through we have to certify the election, and then January 20th, you will have the swearing in of the President of the United States. Meanwhile, what you'll likely see happen is beginning on January 3rd, and I spoke to Marsha Blackburn, Senator Blackburn, about this, they will immediately start the hearings on individuals like Rubio, et cetera. And I'm going to touch on Hegseth in just a moment, but they're going to start some of those hearings early so that as soon as President Trump is sworn in, they can have their vote, those people can assume the office, and we can start fixing what otherwise is a broken administration that is weaponized against you. So on to this first point. Talking about, now here we go. You got a broken border. It's wide open. You've got veterans not getting services. You have school kids who don't have the right books, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He just gave $1 billion to Angola. Now you tell me, if that graphic wasn't up there, most people couldn't tell you where Angola is on a map. And yet he's giving $1 billion to Angola. So I have a bill. It's called the Build America First Act that's going to reappropriate that $1 billion and bring it back to the United States to do what? To help Americans, in particular, those Americans that have been devastated by natural disasters. And so we should be putting Americans first. We should be putting U.S. citizens first, not some country that no one, especially not even Biden, couldn't find on a map. So going on. So you'll see that coming out. We'll be dropping that. I don't know if it's public yet, but that's going to be coming out. U.S. versus Skrmetti. So by the way, Skrmetti, AG of Tennessee, love him. He's fantastic. He's doing a great job. He's aggressive. Really fits my type of personality. We need more Skrmettis across the country who are fighting for you and asserting states' rights. And that's a big deal. We have the 10th Amendment for a reason. States' rights. And so Skrmetti, so my friend Senator Jack Johnson had a bill that essentially banned the gender mutilation of children. That has made it all the way up to the Supreme Court. And when you look at the arguments over the last couple of days, the arguments from the justices are very favorable in support of the Tennessee law. And what this does is creates a precedent for protecting children. Now look, if you're an adult and you want to do something crazy to your body, that's between you and your doctor. If you're a dude, you're an adult, you want to wear a dress, that's your business. All right, it's a free country. Keep in mind, you're still a dude in a dress. But this law protects children. And I'll say this, any doctor, any physician, any nurse, any clinician who is an accomplice to mutilating minor children should be prosecuted. All right, now, the Senate just completed a survey, an analysis of federal workers, and they determined only 6%, only 6% are showing up to work. So you can see this graphic. Department of Energy, Agency for Global Media, U.S. Ag, Veterans Affairs. Okay, again, what's the suicide rate? The daily suicide rate for veterans? They're not even showing up to work, the Department of Veterans Affairs. The EPA, now they'll be happy to sue your business if they don't like what you're doing and it fits their agenda, but they're not coming to work. And so you can go down this list. These people aren't showing up for work. So I have a bill that's called the Show Up to Work Act, which is going to require those folks to show up to work at the same level that it requires them to qualify for health insurance. That's a simple request. Now look, I think you, myself, we put in the hours. We put in the time. You have Americans all over this country having to work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week just to make ends meet. We should be able to expect that the individuals working for the federal government should show up to work for the same level that they're qualifying for their benefits. And if somehow they're able to work from home, it requires approval from the secretary of that agency or the director, if that's the title. And that list has to be submitted to Congress quarterly. Now, we don't vote on it, but that way the people that are working remotely can be accounted for and explanations can be reviewed. But it's time that we have accountability in this administration at a time when we're barreling towards $36, $37 trillion in debt into 2025. We've got to be aggressive and have some common sense solutions. So if you're getting paid by the federal government, you damn should be showing up to work. All right, now, you've got these confirmations, you've got these hearings, and you've seen it being weaponized against specific individuals, and you have Pete Hegseth. Now, I am friends with Pete. He is a good man. He's not perfect, but what I can tell you is he has the experience to upend and to reform an agency that's broken. And he said it in his own words. I talked to him. I've been texting him, if not twice a day, at least once a day, just giving him words of encouragement, is that President Donald Trump is the individual who's elected to President of the United States. His role, his job in that role is to be an operator and to execute the mission and the vision of the President of the United States. This is a man who knows the President. He can communicate with the President. He understands the President's vision, and the folks that working in DOD are afraid that he's going to come in and fix the things that are broken. That's why you see this smear campaign. And by the way, it's all anonymous. So how is he supposed to address accusers when you have all of these anonymous allegations against him? Meanwhile, coworker after coworker after coworker are coming out in his defense, refuting these allegations. So it's time for some of the holdouts, my friend Joni Ernst being one of them, need to get on board, look at his record, look at his track record, look at the facts, and they need to vote to confirm Pete Hegseth as the next Secretary of Defense. Now, roughly a year ago, I had a resolution honoring Daniel Penny. Now, if you don't know, if you don't remember that case, you had this homeless individual. He was drugged out. He was threatening individuals on a subway. There's testimony after testimony. People were in fear for their lives. Daniel Penny engaged. This individual ultimately passed away. Daniel Penny is a hero. But I'll tell you this, why is it that you have someone like Daniel Penny who's saving individuals on a subway or being tried, and you have this particular, go ahead and roll the clip.
I'll give you an example of something that I did with a recent case of mine, and this has never been done in my office. I had a murder case where the defendant did not intentionally kill the victim.
Okay.
He went
Go ahead, keep playing.
into an ATM on the Upper West Side and tried to rob an individual.
Now, this is the person committing a crime.
An older individual. He was 86, and
killed a defenseless
in the course
individual.
of the robbery, he fell to the ground, and as a result, he died. This is under the law a felony murder, which is akin to intentional murder.
We can stop there. So you have this double standard. So you have an individual who killed somebody in the commission of a crime who was let off. And then you have Daniel Penny who is engaging to stop the commission of a crime, and they're being tried. So over the last few days, the jury is currently deliberating. My hope is that it's a hung jury. If not, or my hope would be that he's acquitted, but that he is ultimately set free. But this is the problem. See, the left doesn't want you to stand up and take back your community. They want you to be afraid. Why? Because if you're afraid, you need them. But the moment that we, the people, stand up and defend our rights, defend our families, defend our communities, we recognize and exercise the rights that our founding fathers gave you. Quite frankly, those inalienable rights that God gave you, and that you don't need them. And so this is why they want an environment, an atmosphere of fear. This is why they punish someone like Daniel Penny, because he's willing to stand up for what is right. They don't like you if you love your country. They don't like you if you believe in the Constitution. They don't like you if you're willing to exert your right to be free and safe in this country. My name is Andy Ogles. I'm the Congressman for Tennessee's 5th District. It is an honor to serve and look forward to the 119th serving President Donald Trump and, more importantly, you.